Alright, block is back, finally. We're going to dig into some of the things that I had done. This is going to be a quick video just to kind of go over the work that I had done. Also going to look at the head, and then we'll start putting this thing back together. Alright, diving right in. So first thing is we had the block dipped in an acid solution to get the paint off. You can see it's already kind of starting to form a little bit of surface rust there from just sitting in the elements, and that's normal. You just have to clean that off before you paint it. Car's still here. Supposedly next Sunday it's going up to Douglas, Georgia to start the body and paint work, so I'll keep you posted on that. But anyway, back to the engine. So new Molle pistons, 40 thou over. It's been resurfaced, so the deck is nice and flat. I think he took off like 6 thou approximately, and I think it had been decked once before. So one of the things that we're going to have to do, and I can tell after rotating this, that these pistons sit a little proud. We'll have to determine how high these pistons are above the deck. Target typically somewhere between 25 and 50 thou is how far the piston should be under the deck. If you're configuring this for a racing setup, you know, maybe right at the deck. But we'll figure out where that's at. Probably somewhere between 15 and 30 thou, just taking a look at it. Brand new frost plugs. There are 7 of these, one smaller one. Actually, sorry, there are 8 of these. So they got the 3 on the side, 1 on the back, and then the 3 on this side, and then the little guy here. They use the aviation sealant on these, so I went ahead and just had him do that. I had him go ahead and put the short block together, just to save me some time, and it looks like he's done a pretty good job. Looking down here, I've got the new lip seal, worth the $400 for the upgrade. You have to grind down the scroll seal back there. It's a new Viton style lip seal. It should not leak at all. We will see. What else we got here? Up close. All nice, fresh and clean in there. Looking pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and flip this thing over. Taking a look at the underside now. A couple improvements. We got the ARP washers instead of the lock tabs, and then also the ARP bolts and washers for the big ends on the bearings. Those are much more reliable. Torque these down to 83 foot-pounds. Torque these to, I think, 37. That seems to be pretty consistently the agreed upon torquing value. Doesn't look like this was decked. I didn't actually request that, but it looks pretty good. Let's see here, what else do we got? So we got brand new bearings. All the bearings for the big ends, and then the main bearings are sized at 20 thou over, so that the crankshaft was machined and polished for those new bearings. What else we got here? So that's pretty much it on this underside. Nothing else really to discuss here. But anyway, let's move on to the head. All right, here's the flywheel, looking pretty good. Resurfaced, and then I got it drilled for the 9.5 inch E-type clutch. You can see the old drills there, the old holes there. Flywheel's been lightened and balanced. See, the Mark 7 flywheel is 29 pounds, and then the non-SC XK120 is 29 pounds as well. The SE or M featured a 21 pound lightweight flywheel. From what I'm reading, it's probably a little too light, a little too quick of a throttle response, so I went with 24 pounds. 24 to 25 pounds, so it should be a little bit of a quicker throttle response. Alright, so this is the part I'm the most excited about. This is the original head. You might recall that we found this in Texas, and it hasn't been with the car for about 50 or 60 years, so I cannot wait to get this back in. Just a few things that we had done, a few things to note. You know, all new tappets, all new tappet guides, new valve springs, new valves. I had to source the camshafts from an XJ6. You might recall that this was originally the Mark 7 head that had the 5/16 inch lift, so this one actually has a 3/8, and I measured each one to make sure it was a 3/8 inch lift and within spec, and it was. One thing I'm a little concerned about is I went ahead and went with performance springs, which may or may not have been a mistake. They're about 15 to 20% stronger. There's some concerns that the stronger springs might damage these camshafts over 10-15,000 miles. Typically they recommend using a billet milled steel camshaft. We'll take a look after 5-10,000 miles to see if there's any noticeable wear and make an assessment if we need to make any changes from that point. We got new bearings for the camshaft. But they all seem to be in pretty good condition, but since we're doing an overhaul, might as well replace them anyway. One thing to note here, these tappet guides are secured with the screw. Sometimes you can get the bar, you'll see the bar that goes across two of these. This is the right way to do it though. Both ways work, but that way is preferred. Here you can see, look in the valley there. Here you can see the original number, and W is a prefix that's typical for XK120s. Sometimes you'll also see F depending on the year. And then the 8 for 8-to-1 compression ratio, and S for special equipment. Let's see here. Looks like we're going to need some studs. I do have a new stud kit. We had to have this drilled. This camshaft did not come with this adapter for the tachometer, so we had that included. So I had to source also new camshaft covers. Special thanks to Dave in Australia. He sent me a pair. We'll get those polished up and put on, and they're going to look fantastic. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the underside. Alright, looking beautiful under here. We got the bottom of the head resurfaced, nice and flat, so it'll sit flush with the newly surfaced block. Brand new valves, these are brand new. If you look closely, you might be able to see it. I got the triangle cuts, so the valves sit a little better. The waterways, he said that he didn't have to weld a lot of these. I do see some welding, but these are close to where they need to be to sit properly with the gasket and the water passageways in the block. You can see the new guides down there, looking pretty good. Really pleased with how this turned out. There's the original casting number, C6733. I think that's William Mills, the foundry. Not 100% sure, but take a look at what this thing looked like beforehand in comparison with now. Don told me it was in pretty bad shape to start with, but really pulled it together. Can't wait to get this thing on the block, get the engine going. So next video will be compression ratio calculation. I use a really simple, straightforward method. Some people get out the plexiglass, the syringes, and the water and calculate the specific gravity. I think that's overkill. So I'll show you kind of a quick calculation that gets you probably within 5 to 10% of what the actual compression ratio is. All right, that's the next video. Thanks for watching.